You're waking up. Archangel Michael confirmed it in an emergency download. But they're trying to pull you back. The hour was not random. The silence before dawn held a sound that only the spirit could hear. In the stillness where most sleep, your spirit stirred. You felt it. Sudden, weighty, holy. It wasn't anxiety. It wasn't overthinking. It was a divine interruption. A shift that didn't come from outside noise, but from an ancient place within your soul. This wasn't just a dream. And you're not just going through something. You're waking up. The veil between heaven and earth thinned. And in that quiet window, Archangel Michael was dispatched with urgency. With flame in his voice and authority in his tone. He came not with comfort but confirmation. What you sensed, what you've been wrestling with, what you've silently endured. It was real is real and it is divine. The inner transformation you can't explain to anyone else is not your imagination. It is the fingerprint of God moving in your life. But as heaven awakens you, forces are rising. Not everything wants you to come into clarity. Not everyone benefits from you seeing clearly. Darkness has always feared the awaken. And now that you've shifted, so has the battlefield. There are whispers you can't trace, distractions you can't explain, and pressure that seems to come from nowhere. But hear this. It's because your light is disturbing someone's illusion. You're being pulled on, tugged at, and tested. Not because you're weak, but because you're rising. This message, this moment, this sacred scroll of words that's not for everyone. It will not resonate with every heart, but it was meant for yours. You didn't scroll here by accident. Heaven orchestrated this encounter. There is a reason your spirit paused. There is a reason your heart leapt when you saw these words. Something in you recognized the frequency of truth. Something ancient, something holy, something you forgot but never lost. You are being called out of noise and into stillness, out of confusion and into clarity. But you must be still long enough to receive what is being whispered. You must silence the distractions long enough to hear what is being spoken. Not in the ears, but in the spirit. This is not the time to second guesses. This is not the hour to delay. You are being pulled forward by God, and simultaneously something is trying to pull you back. Stand still in this moment. Be present in this prophetic encounter. Do not scroll past the divine. Don't let another moment of sleep rob you of the reason you were stirred awake. Heaven is speaking. Type 1 am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. It with the hour that isn't just quiet. It's sacred. V33M. A moment where time bends. Where the veil is at its thinnest. Where the spiritual realm presses into the natural. And it was then, not before, not after, that the message came. It didn't knock gently. It arrived like fire on the wind. Like lightning through the soul. You didn't imagine it. You didn't make it up. You were awakened. Not by coincidence, but by divine command. Archangel Michael was dispatched. Not with general comfort, but with emergency confirmation. With a 40 that splits through dimensions. He appeared in spirit and declared, "The veil has thinned. You're waking up, not slowly, not subtly, not someday." Now, this is not a process that stretches for decades. This is not the same cycle repeating. You have crossed into an intersection of timelines and your spirit knows it. You sensed a disturbance. You felt something pressing against your chest, vibrating in your bones, whispering behind your thoughts. Heaven is activating you. But do not be deceived. Where there is activation, there is interference. Where there is awakening, here is resistance. Because you were not supposed to see this clearly. They never expected you to question the matrix of your own conditioning. They never imagined you'd start asking, why am I here? What was I made for? Why do I feel pulled from what once comforted me? You're not losing your mind. You're gaining your purpose. And that inner shaking, that emotional earthquake, it's not instability. It's divine alignment. But understand this truth. This message is not for everyone. Only for those who were predestined to hear it. Only for those who have ears to hear. This message by us is the logic of the mind and pierces straight through the veil of the heart. If your spirit is burning right now, if your tears are unexplainable, if your chest feels tight with a sudden knowing you are one of them. The marked, the awakened, the called. Archangel Michael issues this warning. Be alert. In the next 48 hours they will test you. You are no longer invisible in the spirit. Heaven sees you, but so does hell. And now the test begins. It won't come in obvious forms. It won't be as blatant as darkness knocking at your door. It will come subtly as distractions, as busyness, as people needing just a minute of your time, as emotions suddenly rising from nowhere, as doubt crawling into the edges of your mind when you thought you were over it. You must understand your next step is holy. It is sacred. It is loaded with consequence. And because of that, the enemy has assigned confusion to cloud it. You are not battling people. You are resisting atmospheres. You are not fighting arguments. You are confronting altars. That's why the warfare feels so heavy, because the next step carries such weight. This is not a season for noise. This is not a time for crowds. This is not a moment for advice. This is the hour of obedience and silence. The Spirit says, obey without explanation. Move without validation. Choose without confirmation. Trust what you heard in the silence. Because heaven will not compete with your distractions. And breakthrough will not beg for your attention. In these next 48 hours, choose stillness like your life depends on it. Because spiritually it does. Choose obedience like eternity depends on it, because it absolutely does. Do not be baited by arguments. Do not be lured by emotional pleas. Do not respond to everything that calls your name. Everything pulling at you is not meant for you. Some voices have been assigned to steal your clarity. Some invitations are traps disguised as concern. And yet there is divine protection. Even in this, heaven has already gone before you. Angels have already been assigned. Archangel Michael himself stands at the gate of your spirit. Sword drawn, wings unfurled, guarding the door of your destiny. But you must not open that door with your own hands. You must not step out of sacred timing with restless energy. Wait, listen, withdrawal. The Spirit is whispering. If you move now, I'll show you why I waited until this exact hour. This is divine alignment, not just awakening. This is your call up, not just your shake-up. This is not for your entertainment. This is your equipping. You were not led here to be inspired. You were led here to be instructed. You were not led here for noise. You were led here for order. And now they've come. You're waking up, but they are trying to pull you back. Heaven is calling. Are you still enough to hear? Type 1 am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. You felt it. The stares that last too long. The sudden shift in tone when you enter the room. The conversations that pause the moment you walk by. They smile. They nod. But their spirit reacts before their face does. Something in them sees something rising in you, and they don't know how to process it. You're not imagining this. You're not paranoid. You're not being dramatic. What you're discerning is real. They see the light but pretend they don't. They feel your rise, but act as if it's nothing. Yet inside, it's shaking them. It begins subtly. Calls that used to come frequently now come with awkward energy. Messages come laced with small jabs, half-hearted support, or an eerie silence that speaks volumes. People who once encouraged you now seem oddly uncomfortable around you. Why? Because the version of you they were comfortable with no longer exists. You are becoming, and your becoming is confronting their pretending. There are spirits in operation through people, and these spirits are not thrilled about your awakening. You felt the shift. You sensed the tension. One moment you feel lifted, clear, and confident. The next moment it's like a fog rolls in. Doubt, insecurity, distraction, emot. Your phone rings and it's someone checking in. But their words leave you more drained than encouraged. You try to focus, but something invisible keeps pulling at your peace. These are not coincidences. These are strategic distractions, spirit-level disruptions, and they are targeting you because you've stepped into a new realm of clarity. Yes, someone is watching. Someone is monitoring, but not to help. They're observing your rise while secretly hoping you'll doubt yourself enough to sit back down. It's not always jealousy. Sometimes it's fear. Fear that you'll no longer need their validation. Fear that you'll see who you really are and no longer shrink to fit their comfort zone. And so the enemies send subtle agents. Gossip cloak as concern. Manipulation disguise as mentorship. Control mask is closeness. People will say things like, "You've changed," and it won't be a compliment. They'll suggest you're distant, cold, or doing too much. But the truth is, you're waking up and they are still asleep. And in the realm of spirit, this creates friction. You are disturbing what they are still trying to ignore. Your clarity makes their confusion uncomfortable. Your obedience exposes their compromise. You're not losing friends. You're shedding layers. You're not becoming arrogant. You're becoming aligned. The weight you feel, the strange dreams, the emotional roller coasters, it's spiritual. These are signs. They are clues. Heaven is drawing you into deeper discernment. Archangel Michael is exposing what's been hidden in plain sight. Not to hurt you, but to protect you. You must see the difference between the assignment and the attachment. Some people were assigned to pull you back. Some connections were built to collapse as you rise. You felt unrest not because something is wrong, but because something is being revealed. The exposure feels like heartbreak, but it's actually freedom. God is allowing this discomfort to prevent your delay. You've been asking, "Why do I feel like I don't belong anywhere anymore?" And heaven responds, "Because your spirit has outgrown the spaces your body still occupies." Don't be surprised if emotional waves continue. Don't be shocked if more people shift to ghost or gossip. This is confirmation, not punishment. The battle isn't about relationships. It's about spiritual position, and your elevation is disrupting the familiar. Hold fast, anchor deed. Your spirit isn't lying. You're not too sensitive. You're not overreacting. You are being refined by revelation. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $110. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Subscribe to the channel for prophetic insights, spiritual breakthroughs, and divine encouragement every week. We're walking this journey together. Don't miss what's coming next. Type 1 receive the truth in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 777 is releasing clarity over confusion. What you're facing is not ordinary, and it cannot be explained by logic alone. This is not just a bad day. This is not just mood swings. This is not random stress or human error. This is spiritual warfare, and it has been launched because of your awakening. The shift inside you, the spiritual alignment, the divine remembrance, the courage to step into your calling. It has made you a threat. You are now on the radar of darkness. Not because you've done something wrong, but because you become spiritually dangerous. You are not being attacked for who you were. You're being attacked for who you're becoming. You've crossed into territory that most never dare to walk in. The enemy does not attack what is asleep. The enemy does not war against what is compliant. But you've begun to say yes to things heaven whispered into your soul long ago. And every yes you whisper shakes the gates of hell. The spiritual opposition has intensified because your purpose has entered its due season. You are no longer standing in potential. You're stepping into promise. And now the enemy must act fast. He must try to make you question everything. Your hearing, your vision, your worth, your authority. He wants to convince you that this is emotional instability, that this is overthinking, that maybe it's all in your head. But Archangel Michael thunders through the realm. This is not life happening. This is war. And you are being called to stand. The conflict around you is not a mistake. This silence isn't the absence of activity. It's the signal that God has taken over. Type 1 am hidden for glory in the comments. Blessing code 4141 is now surrounding your path. There is a breaking happening not around you but within you. Something has snapped. Something old has shattered in silence. The ties that once held you to your former self are dissolving. The lies that once wrapped around your mind like vines are losing their grip. And now in this holy unmaking comes a divine unveiling. Heaven declares over you now, you are not who you used to be, and you do not need to apologize for the shedding. You do not owe anyone an explanation for the wings that have begun to unfold where your wounds once were. They see your fire now. They hear the authority in your voice. They feel your energy when you enter the room, even if they pretend not to. What they don't understand is that this fire wasn't forged in applause. It wasn't birthed in ease. The fire inside you came from the secret furnaces of obedience. Came from isolation, not invitation. From surrender, not striving. From weeping, not winning. You did not just wake up strong. You endured storms in silence that forced your spirit to grow roots in places others never see. So when they try to pull you back into your old identity, when they bait you with reminders of who you used to be, when they try to keep you in the version of yourself they could control, stand your ground. Smile but stand. Bless them but don't bend. You are no longer available for the cycles that once defined you. Heaven says, you old can't hold the new anymore. That voice you've heard in your spirit calling you into more. It wasn't imagination. It was invitation. And it didn't come from this world. It came from a divine place that has waited for your agreement. The real you, the anointed you, the fearless you, the aligned you is finally rising to the surface. And no amount of familiarity will bury that resurrection. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them whisper. But do not step off the wall you've been called to build. You are no longer walking in permission. You are walking in power. Power that cannot be bought, mimicked, or manipulated. It's not performance. It's presence. It's not ambition. It's anointing. This is what happens when a soul finally remembers its origin. The enemy's biggest fear wasn't you failing. It was you realizing who you are. And now that you know he's terrified. Terrified because once you walk in power, you stop begging for permission. Terrified because once you move in authority, you stop negotiating with confusion. Terrified because once you stand up, hell has to back down. Archangel Michael declares, your posture has changed. You used to fight for clarity. Now clarity follows you. You used to chase approval. Now you are marked by heaven. You used to feel unseen. Now your name is being whispered in heavenly places. You've been processed, pressed, and purified. And now you are walking in fire that no one can extinguish. This is your moment to shift. No more apologies for your elevation. No more shrinking to keep others comfortable. No more silencing your spirit to protect fragile egos. You've crossed over. You've come through. And you carry a weight that doesn't need validation to exist. You are not asking anymore. You are announcing. You are not waiting anymore. You are walking. To take up space, speak with fire. Move with boldness. You are not arrogant. You are activated. And heaven is backing every step you take. Your name is etched in authority now. You are not who you were. And that's exactly the point. Type 1 have risen in the comments. Blessing code 888 is unlocking heavenly favor over your steps. You've wondered lately why the pressure has increased. Why it feels like you're being squeezed from all sides. Why right after peace comes warfare. Why just when clarity lands, chaos follows. And heaven leans in now to whisper this truth. The resistance you feel is not a rejection of you. It's a revelation of you. You are not being punished. You are being promoted. And the warfare is not because you've done something wrong, but because you've aligned with what is eternally right. This is your unlocking. You couldn't have avoided this process if you tried. It will be about making history. You will become the evidence that obedience pays off. You will become the proof that stillness wins. You will become the answer to prayers your ancestors wept over. And those who plotted your fall, they will have no choice but to witness your rise. Archangel Michael stands with sword raised high, not to threaten, but to protect the moment of divine elevation. No more delay, no more wondering, no more survival. You are stepping into vindication that will shock even you. The favor will be so sudden, the clarity so strong, the reversal so swift. It will silence every doubt you ever entertain. They will see it and they will not understand it, but they will not be able to stop it. If this message is confirming your season, consider giving a super thanks with a contribution of $15. Your support helps us continue creating prophetic content that changes lives. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Be sure to subscribe for more prophetic words, spiritual insight, and divine confirmation in your journey. What's coming next will speak directly to your spirit. Type 1M Justified in the comments. Blessing code 7777 is surrounding your name with divine reversal. You thought this was just a shift in your emotions, a change in your thinking, a random feeling of something more. But heaven reveals this now. You were not waking up. You were being called up. This was not self-discovery. This was divine revelation. God didn't just allow you to sense something different. He invited you to walk in it. This is the hour of clarity. This is the hour of covering. This is the hour of calling. And heaven says, you are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. Nothing can reverse what God has now stamped over your life. The scrolls are open. The angels are released. Your name has been written on a mantle that cannot be erased. You didn't stumble here. You were led here. Every message, every line, every word that pierced your spirit, it was crafted for this very moment to awaken you, to position you, to mark you. You are now standing in the afterglow of revelation. The veil has been lifted. The illusions shatter. Now you see, now you know, now you rise. You do not rise alone. You rise covered. Covered in the prayers of those who came before you. Covered by the wings of angels assigned to your path. Covered by the fire of Archangel Michael, who fights for those stepping into obedience. Covered by the voice of the Almighty declaring, this one is mine. And from this moment forward, walk differently, speak differently, move with purpose, act with power. You are not the same. You cannot return to what no longer aligns. You cannot fit into what you've outgrown. You cannot pretend to be asleep when heaven has called you up. So bless what fell apart. Honor what had to leave and rejoice for what is rising within you now. A new chapter begins. A new anointing flows. A new assignment unfolds. You are not simply changed. You are commissioned. And every step from here will carry weight. The atmosphere around you will feel different because you are different. Heaven recognizes it. Hell fears it. And your spirit knows it. You are no longer waiting for confirmation. You are as a confirmation. You are no longer seeking signs. You are walking in fulfillment. You are no longer hidden. You are revealed. Go forward now. Not with anxiety but with authority. Not with fear, but with fire. Not wondering if you heard God, but knowing that you did. Archangel Michael declares one last time. You are sealed, seen, and sent. What was once clear is now undeniable. What once felt heavy now feels holy. What once was broken has become beautiful. This is your final affirmation. You were not waking up. You were being called up. Now rise, chosen one. Go forward and watch what God does next. Type 1M called up in the comments. Blessing code 3333 is anointing your next 7 days with clarity and direction.